Appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today. Obviously, very pleased with the week. Last week, Wednesday, going back to NDSU, and then Saturday against Denver. I think a ton of credit goes to our fans, in particular our students. Wes sent me an email the other day. We're on pace to, I believe, be on par or break the records since the 93-94 season. And I think, and certainly we've got a product I think our community and the students and everybody's proud of, but make no question about it, the Shield Center inside the Sanford Athletic Complex has been a big part of it. And it's been really exciting when the crowd gets behind you like that. It gives you that extra boost. And to have 4,000 consistently the last 2 or 3 weeks has been terrific. And I hate skipping ahead, but a couple seniors are going to go out. We want to send them out the right way Saturday afternoon in Dexter Warner and Carlin Dupree, and hopefully we can pack the shack one last time. But again, going back to Wednesday night, anytime you play the Jackrabbits, there's always just a little bit of extra juice. And a player like Mike Dahm, and they got some new personnel around them with some guys being injured, some guys raising their level of play, switching from a completely a zone team to now a man team. It was certainly different, but very pleased with the way our guys really defended. I thought we were physical. I thought we were locked in and made their opportunities difficult. And because of those things, we were able to get some separation. And I thought that was really the same case on Saturday afternoon as well. I thought we got things rolling a little bit. Kai picked up a couple fouls that hurt us. Took us out of our rhythm a little bit. Credit Coach Billups and that staff. They're doing a tremendous job there, and they cut it to 5 at half. But again, when we got rolling, I thought we were really, really locked in defensively and held them, I believe at one point maybe it was 9 minutes scoreless, and that's how we gained that separation. And again, very pleased with the week we had last week. I thought Monday and Tuesday, Thursday and Friday were what made us, our preparation. And that's where our focus needs to be. And focus needs to be on today, getting better for obviously a very good, talented Fort Wayne team on Wednesday night. I'll take questions.
Defensive side of the ball really where you thought you guys were better last week than the week prior?
Yeah, I think so. It's something that obviously we've been putting an emphasis on, when you and also again I appreciate our guys understanding too. I think they understand we're coming down to the wire here, and what's made us successful is we've really got to lock in and control those things that we can control, and defending, rebounding, and taking care of the ball are 3 of those things.
Locked in kind of with South Dakota now for the last 4 games as far as who's going to win the league. Do you prefer that you have two game weeks left?
I haven't really, again, thought much about it. It is what it is. Here it comes. I think we've seen, with us having a week off and then going to IUPUI, it didn't work out well. Denver had a week off coming into our place. Western had a week off. So I think there's something to be said about the rhythm and routine. Hopefully we're in a good rhythm and routine, which I think we are right now. But we got to have a good Monday, a good Tuesday in preparation for a tough one Wednesday night.
How much do you put on Kai's plate? Do you ever have to kind of remind yourself that he is a true sophomore?
Yeah, no, I guess, to be honest with you. I don't really get caught up in years. I really don't. We put 5 guys out there on the floor that there's an expectation they're going to go out and execute, our principles, our standards, and, defending, rebounding, and taking care of the ball. Certainly, as a sophomore, do you understand that he can continue to do those things at a higher level? That's exciting. But we put guys out there that we expect to own their role and do it at a high level no matter their age.
2 weeks ago, not a great week of practice, and then the 2 losses. How happy are you with the way that your team responded with the great week of practice and, of course, the 2 wins?
Well, extremely happy. I think that for all of us, in particular with 18 to 22-year-old, you get a little of that confidence. You're 7-1, you're feeling pretty good, and you've done it one way. And not that they completely just said, okay, now we're going to just flip it and do it our way. But if you lose a little here, you lose a little there, all those little things add up. And I thought that's what's happened 2 weeks ago. We just didn't cross this T, didn't dot that I. And when you do those things in a competitive league, top to bottom, against good teams on the road or a very good USD team coming into your place, you're going to get beat just like we did.
You have a situation where 2 of your kids who have kind of been tied at the hip in terms of their success with Paul and AJ go and get 1,000 points on the same day. Seen something like that? How do you describe that?
Yeah, it's a really unique situation. You got roommates, 2 real competitive kids. that obviously score the ball at a high level, and certainly very, very proud of them, but proud of all of our guys around them. You know, the managers that have rebounded for them, the coaches that have put them in position, you know, the guys that have set screens, the guys that have assisted it on them, you know, the strength and conditioning. To me, it's you know, those balls that'll get handed out, and at some point they'll get them. It's really a total team, a total Bison family that's deserving of all those.
Dave, the week before, I think South Dakota shot somewhere around 50%, and then last week you held both opponents under 38%. Did you need to remind the guys that, hey, we hang our hat on defense, and going into that week, was that kind of a point of emphasis for you?
I've been reminding me, obviously, yeah, and them as well. And I think, again, like I have 4 daughters at home. Sometimes they hear me, sometimes they're listening. And, you know, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it to you guys, about the staples of our program, defending, rebounding, and taking care of the ball. And again, to our guys' credit, I think they understand more so than ever the urgency this time of year of if we're going to get some, you know, separations in a game here, a game there, it's going to come down to those 3 things.
Question. So you recruit Winkleman, Woodside, those guys, a slow build, NCAA tournament, and there's a couple down years, another slow build, and a couple NCAA tournaments. I think how have you been able to avoid that down cycle again that a lot of mid-majors see?
Yeah, that was, you know, it's an interesting perspective, Jeff, and it's something that as a staff that we've talked about, and that was really my message to Gene Taylor is, you know, I think we've built. And I was definitely a part of it. You know, we built teams in a sense where there was, and certainly it makes a lot of sense in the infancy of the program when you're going to redshirt those 4 or 5 kids for that one opportunity. And so much of it, you know, went into that with that junior and senior class that, you know, you missed on a kid, this kid didn't get whatever. And so now you're maybe starting over again and you build it back up with another big team. But when I sat down with Gene, I said, you know, I'm a competitor. I want to be successful every year. And so we've pushed the envelope. We've held our guys extremely accountable to our goals, to our standards. And we've also pushed the envelope a little bit more in recruiting. I think you can see that with a guy like Kai, with a guy like Tyson, you know, some out-of-area guys that we definitely do our homework, make sure they fit our culture, but we're not scared to go out and get those guys if they can help us play and be good immediately. You talk about even playing guys that in the past maybe have redshirted. We haven't, you know, if you're going to be able to help us, we want to play you. I think all those things go into it, but, you know, that was a big part of, you know, my message in wanting this job was, you know, I want to compete for championships every single year.
So you're talking Gene during your interview? Is that what?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that true that most mid-majors do the?
Well, I think it goes back to Ross's question. You look at what's been successful, for, not every time, but a lot of the time was, you know, upperclassmen, juniors and seniors, guys that have been there, done that, guys that have gained experiences, you know, on the court. And I really, you know, we had the luxury of having, you know, we only had one, but we had the luxury of having the right one. My first year here in Lawrence Alexander, a guy that understood that, you know, had been there, done it. But we were a young group there. Corey and Chris were juniors at the time, and the other 4 guys that played consistently, you got Paul and AJ as freshmen out there. Dexter's a sophomore. So we were young, but we just kept pushing them, holding them accountable, and you know, we weren't building for tomorrow. We were trying to get better today to see what we can do, you know, at the end of the year in March.
Isn't that tougher to do than stay in the Division I athletes where if it's not immediate gratification, they transfer?
Yeah, no question. And again, that's a terrific perspective. It really is, and I think it really speaks to not to be arrogant, but it really speaks to how our staff recruits. We lay everything on the table. Don't come here for any promises other than it's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of fun. And if you're expecting X amount of minutes, if you're expecting X amount of starts or whatever, we're not the program for you. And you know what happens? I don't want to say we miss on. I don't want to say we don't have talented guys in our program, but talent isn't the top perspective that, you know, that we go after. We want guys that understand what's going to be here, that they're going to work their butts off, you know, every single day. And when their opportunities called, when they're, you know, when they're playing their role, when they're starting in their role, then we really got something.
Carlin Dupree hits those, you know, makes those huge plays against Oklahoma as a freshman. Goes through everything that you guys went through last year. This year he starts every game for you. How unique has his journey been, and do you have any thoughts on him going into senior day on Saturday?
I mean, I get goosebumps as you bring it up, Ross. It's going to be an interesting day for me on Saturday. Those are two special, special kids. And Carlin, to me, and I want to talk about it a little bit more Saturday, is one of my, I don't like to talk about myself, but, one of my more gratifying experiences as a coach has been able to go through the experiences that I've been through, that this team, this program has been through with Carlin Dupree. I think he would tell you that this program and culture has been very good for him, but I've said it before, that kid's been great for me. And I don't know what it's going to be, but he's going to be successful in what he does. The humility that young man attacks life with, where he is today compared to where he was last year, 2 years ago, 3-4 years ago. Just really proud to know that kid.
You look at Fort Wayne for this matchup on the road as you go to Indiana. There's obviously talent there, but they've still lost 5 of their last 8. Do you see a team, when you look at them on film, playing with the kind of urgency they need to keep their season from going sideways in the home stretch? Yeah,
they're just so talented. They're so talented, and anytime you got, John does a terrific job, and John Conchar is one of my favorite players in the league. He just blends them so well. So, we're just, as a coach, you just get caught up in everything they can do, and it makes you, it's just really scary. They shot 42 threes again the other night, and it just makes me start sweating because of how many they made the other night when they were at our place too. And so they're certainly a capable team of beating anybody on any night, anywhere. They've proven that. And I think that's the parity of this league. You even look at our 7-1 start. There were so many games, a couple possessions here, a couple possessions there. So make no mistake, like everybody, they'll be locked in for us on Wednesday night.
How important is it to have momentum going into the Summer League tournament? I mean, the games are kind of winding down here. How important has that been in your past of having the right feel going into the postseason?
Well, certainly, make no mistake, I think it helps, and I think we're playing well. We've done it both ways. You go back to my first year, Lawrence's senior year, we got just absolutely smacked on I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday night at Oral Roberts, and really refocused our group and saying, hey, we still are a 1 seed. We were a 1 seed at the time in a sense that, we need to have that confidence and swagger that you've earned to be the 1 seed or at the top of the standings, but also don't lose the chip. We were a chip on your shoulder. We were the 5th seed in preseason that year. And I thought we rode it into some confidence into that game and got smacked a little bit, and that really focused us that week. You've gone back to the other years when we have been riding high. So, we're playing well. Obviously, one of the things that I've learned as a head coach, one of your bigger jobs is to learn to pace a team. And I think that comes from a lot of different perspectives, and I think our guys are and I want to hope and believe, and we will continue this week, is to really round into shape on who we want to be, defending, rebounding, and taking care of the ball.
Winning the league, I'm sure, is a goal, but even just the top 2 seeds, how important for you guys, or as you've done in the past, is getting Sunday off when you go down there?
Yeah, I mean, trying to get better today, trying to get better tomorrow, and all those things. And if we do that, that'll take care of it. Certainly, I'm sure you can look at the at history books and all that from the Summer League tournament. Having that extra day off in a lot of ways can really help you. But it's going to happen sooner than later. That team, especially in a year like this, where it doesn't matter what you are, that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is a realm of possibility, right in the realm of possibility. So wherever we are, we just got to keep getting better and take advantage of any opportunity that we have in front of us.
For me, Dexter is another one of those seniors. To have a guy that's kind of getting considered as maybe a league MVP and he's coming off your bench, what does that say about him?
Well, I think it's really interesting and funny is Dexter's senior year of high school, over in the Fargo Dome right across the street, they played my alma mater, Wahpeton High School, in the quarterfinals. And Wahpeton ends up beating them, and I decided to sit in the Wahpeton section. And there was fans, people, and I won't name names, but they said, this kid can't play for you. How's this kid ever going to play for you? Now I get the question, how are you going to replace him here? So, again, I think there's so much credit to our culture, but even more so to Dexter really buying into our culture. And I know I'm the one guy that has to answer it, and everybody wants to know, why isn't Dexter Warner starting? And there was a stretch where Dexter Warner wanted to know why he wasn't starting. And but I think at the very end of the day, that epitomizes what we're all about. It really does. It's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit. Dexter he just goes in there and owns his role, and his role is to come in, be a spark off the bench, and bring that energy that he does and make those winning plays. And I've just been fortunate and blessed, in particular the last 3 years, to really be a part of it.
You use the word epitomizes. Is that, I mean, two guys in your program, these seniors that you guys are going to be recognizing, are there two guys that maybe epitomize the program more?
I'd like to say, and hopefully all of our guys will be talking about Paul and AJ that way, next year, because that's really a selfless culture is really what we want. But those two, they rank right up there. They really do. And so did Lawrence, and so did Chris and Corey, and all those guys that I've been fortunate enough to coach as a head coach. And I think even the 14 year that was so special, Taylor Braun gets so much of the credit, but most everybody would tell you probably our most important guy was Marshall Bjorklund. That's the guy that we played through on the offensive end in particular. So again, I think to Jeff's point, it's certainly experience, but I think it also goes back to having the right kids that believe in each other and are willing to make the winning plays. Willing play might be getting on the floor for a loose ball, might be picking a teammate up, a high five, just starring in their role.
Is there no better example, probably like you laid out, kind of when you go to recruits and say you lay it out, you lay everything on the table. Is there no better example of 18-year-old Dexter Werner into what he is now? I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and he's having fun every time he's out there.
Absolutely, and I hope a guy like Dang Gu is paying close attention to it, because then I even think Dang, his minutes are ahead of where Dexter's were as a redshirt freshman. And I remember, Dexter's dad, John, it was the south end of the Bison Sports Arena, the BSA at the time, and he said, "Yeah, we just got a physical, and he's 262 pounds. Good luck, coach." And he walked off. And all Dexter's done is, dot every I and cross every T along the way to make himself successful. And when his opportunity was called on, he really took advantage of it. And I remember having conversations when I was assistant, when he was a redshirt freshman. He was frustrated, and wanted to know this and what could he do more. He just kept buying his time. He stuck around, and when his opportunity was called, he took advantage of it. Yeah, absolutely.